2 hours and 11 minutes ago, the structure that emerged from 3I Atlas ejected 12 identical objects in a coordinated sequence. Each object is approximately 140 meters across. Each is under powered flight. And all 12 trajectories converge on a single point, low Earth orbit, arrival time 16 hours from now. Within 19 minutes of deployment, every major military space tracking network went into communications blackout. No public statements, no press releases. Just silence as something approaches that we have zero capability to intercept. What I'm about to show you are the last civilian observations before the lockdown, leaked military trajectory projections, and communications between defense agencies that reveal the terrifying truth. These objects are decelerating. They're not debris. They're not natural. They're executing precision orbital insertion burns to match Earth's rotation and position themselves in geostationary orbit directly above major population centers. 12 objects, 12 cities, and nobody in power is telling us what happens when they arrive in 16 hours. I have sources at 3 separate tracking stations who transmitted data before being ordered offline. I have amateur astronomer networks who captured the deployment sequence in real time before their internet connections mysteriously failed. And I have encrypted communications showing that the United States, Russia, China, and the European Union have activated their highest-level crisis protocols, the ones reserved for existential threats to human civilization. This is not a drill. This is happening right now. October 9, 2025, 12 hours 4 minutes and 33 seconds UTC. Dr. Lisa Chen was conducting overnight observation of the 3I Atlas structure from her private observatory in New Zealand when her telescope captured a sudden brightness surge. The structure, which had been maintaining stable configuration at 2.7 kilometers across for the past 4 days, suddenly exhibited multiple localized thermal spikes across its surface. I thought I was seeing instrument malfunction, Chen later reported through encrypted channels. 12 points on the structure lit up simultaneously, each reaching temperatures exceeding 8,000 Kelvin based on spectroscopic analysis. Then objects began separating from the main body, not ejected violently like comet fragments, released deliberately, with visible propulsion signatures immediately after separation. Within 40 seconds, all 12 objects had separated and begun independent flight. High-speed photometry captured their deployment sequence. Each object emerged at precise 30-degree intervals around the structure's equatorial plane, forming a perfect geometric array before executing synchronized engine burns. The coordination was absolute. The precision was mechanical. This was engineered deployment of subcraft from a mothership. Amateur astronomer networks across the southern hemisphere immediately began tracking the objects. Sarah Okafor in Nigeria captured spectroscopic data showing the same ionized xenon and krypton signatures detected in previous propulsion events. James Patterson in Australia measured acceleration rates of 0.023 g sustained for over 4 minutes. Marcus Holland's radio telescope array in Chile detected electromagnetic emissions at frequencies matching spacecraft telemetry bands. The trajectory calculations came fast and horrifying. Dr. Heinrich Cross, monitoring from an undisclosed location in Europe, ran orbital mechanics simulations within minutes of deployment. All 12 objects are on insertion trajectories for geostationary orbit, his leaked analysis stated. Current burn profiles indicate arrival at 36,000 kilometers altitude in approximately 16 hours. Deceleration sequences suggest they're planning to match Earth's rotational period and maintain station keeping above fixed surface coordinates. Geostationary orbit is where communication satellites live, maintaining constant position above specific points on Earth's equator. It's the most valuable orbital real estate humanity has because satellites there can provide continuous coverage of the same geographic region. And these 12 objects were heading there with clear intent to occupy specific positions. But which positions? That answer came from leaked Space Force tracking data. Military reconnaissance satellites had been continuously monitoring the 3I Atlas structure since its opening. When the deployment occurred, automated tracking systems locked onto all 12 objects and began trajectory projection. The predicted geostationary positions corresponded exactly to longitude coordinates above: New York, London, Moscow, Beijing, Tokyo, São Paulo, Mumbai, Cairo, Sydney, Mexico City, Lagos, and Jakarta. The 12 largest metropolitan areas on Earth by population and economic output. This is targeted positioning. An NSA analysis document stated bluntly, the objects are distributing themselves for maximum coverage of human population centers. From geostationary positions above these cities, they would have line of sight to approximately 67% of Earth's human population and 82% of global economic activity. This is either surveillance, infrastructure, or weapons positioning. Either interpretation demands immediate response, but we have no interception capability at that range. At 13:47 UTC, 2 hours and 34 minutes after deployment, Space Command issued the order that triggered the communications blackout. All civilian tracking of the objects was to cease immediately. Data already collected was classified. Public discussion was to be managed through coordinated government statements. But the amateur networks had already shared everything. Trajectory data was mirrored across hundreds of servers. Images were distributed through encrypted channels. The evidence was out and spreading faster than suppression could contain. The most disturbing element came from thermal imaging captured by a private infrared satellite network. As the 12 objects traveled toward Earth, they were changing, expanding, unfolding. Structures were deploying from compact configurations into larger geometries. By 14:15 UTC, the objects had grown from 140 meters to approximately 240 meters each, and they were still transforming. They weren't just spacecraft. They were assembling themselves during transit, preparing for whatever function they were designed to perform once they reached position. 16 hours from now, 12 objects of unknown origin will position themselves in permanent orbit above humanity's largest cities. Objects that demonstrate technology centuries beyond our capability. Objects that can manipulate physics in ways we don't understand. Objects deployed by an intelligence that has proven it knows everything about our civilization, our vulnerabilities, our exact locations. And every government on Earth has simultaneously decided that silence is the best policy while these things approach. Subscribe now. 16 hours until arrival. I'll be updating every 2 hours with new tracking data, leaked communications, and analysis of what these objects are preparing to do. The blackout won't stop the truth. Share this before they force it down completely.